Hi, my name's Ruan and this is my channel, The Yorkshire Sew Girl. I'm here today with a collaboration. There's loads of us doing collaborations at the moment. I don't know about you, but I love it. I like seeing people making the same pattern that are different body shapes. I like seeing people that are using the same fabric and then making different patterns, etc, etc. So I am all for it right now. And today's collaboration is with the lovely Alison from Sew Like Dotty. Obviously I've met Alison a couple of times now at Tamlin's Sew Toon, which has been very enjoyable. And a while ago I was showing some fabric and I was talking about my plans. And Alison contacted me and she said, I've got that fabric as well. Do you fancy doing something together? And I was like, yeah, why not? So she kind of knew I was already thinking about making the Shelby dress and she was like, well, I'll make something and then I won't tell you what it is. And then when we see each other at Sew Toon, we can get some photos together, which I was like, that's a great idea. So I made the Shelby dress. I do know what Alison made because obviously I saw her at Sew Toon, we had some photos taken, but I won't tell you. You can go check out her vlog as well because we're going to release our vlogs at the same time. So you can go and check hers out and see what she made with the same fabric. So that's what we did. We did same fabric, but different patterns for each other. So yeah, and I had a wonderful time doing it. I am not wearing anything me made today, by the way. This is just ready to wear. My favourite dress, as you probably know. I've probably done loads of videos in this because I love it so much. But it is getting a bit, you know, when fabric gets washed like 6,000 gazillion times. Not that I like to exaggerate. Yeah, it's starting to go a bit bobbly, but I don't care. I'm going to get as much use out of it as I can. So what I thought I'd do is I'd talk you through what I made with my fabric, and this is the fabric here. Shall I go get it? Let me go do the professional stuff. Whee! Here she is in all her glory. I will put pictures up, don't worry, so you will be able to see it in more detail. But this is the fabric that we both had. Now, I was very kindly gifted this fabric from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn, and it's the most beautiful viscose in like a candy pink with red splodges. That's what I'd call them, splodges all over. There's no like regular polka dot to these. They are definitely splodges. I have to say the quality of this fabric was amazing. It's slightly sheer, like if I put it up against the window I can slightly see through it, but I wore it with absolutely no issues and I haven't lined it. So it had a really nice weight to it as well. You know, sometimes when you work with viscose and it's really slippy, this didn't feel like that at all. It was actually perfect to press. It just did everything as it should do and I found it really easy to work with. So yeah, I was super happy with it. So let's talk through the Shelby dress. There have been other reviews of it as well online, but I will talk you through my experience with it. So this is the Shelby dress. It's an old knackered packet, sorry. If I remember, I'll try and put photos up that are actually on the website as well, but we'll see. I chose to do the longer version. So these are the line drawings on the back. So you can do a short version, and you can do a dress version or a romper version. And I do like the idea of the shorter romper version, you know, for like maybe on your jollies, when you don't want to be wearing a short skirt, but you want a bit of coverage down there, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I went for the dress version and the long version like this. So this is it at the back. So as you can see, it's made of several panels. Cutting this out was hard work. Woo! It was hard work. And that is because there's quite a lot of pieces and they're so long. But what I love about it is because it's got princess seams down the front, it gives a really nice shape to the dress without you having to do an awful lot to fit it. I like that because I'm lazy. And it's also got ties at the back to be able to cinch the waist in. Oh, my cat's already starting. He's been poorly as our Tigger, but he's doing all right now. He's on antibiotics. We think he's had a bit of a urine infection. Not that you need to know that, too much information, but let's let him in now. Come on then. Don't just stand there then. You coming in or out? No, you staying there then? Oh, you're coming in just as I'm shutting the door. Come on then. Sorry about that. Probably won't edit it out because I can't be bothered. Yeah, so there's loads of different panels to it and it's such a long dress. So I cut out, as you may already know, on my dining table. My dining table was not long enough to put just one long piece on. So I had to cut like 2/3 of it, pin it down, and then pull my fabric back down again to do it. How bonkers is that? Hey? So I will put all the sizes that it goes to and from below here on the bust, waist and hips. But what I will do is I will talk through with you the sizing that I chose. Now, on the chest, I should have been between a 14 and a 16. But I've seen a lot of people saying there's a lot of room in this dress. Now that's all right around the waist, because also you can tie it in with the ties at the back. But I didn't want the bust area to be really loose and baggy. So I actually sized down on the bust. So I should have been a 14 to 16 on the bust, but I actually cut a 12. And that still gave me 3.5 inches of ease. So when I looked at the finished measurements, garment measurements, I was like, that is a lot of ease. So I was very tempted to even go down further. I thought, no, you're pushing it now with the armholes and everything. Don't go there. So I should have been between a 14 and 16, but I cut a size 12 out. My waist should have been a 16, which was perfect. I cut the straight 16 out because that was 3.5 inches of ease. Here he is. Likes to show off, doesn't he? And then the hips should have been a size 18. But I actually cut a 16, so I went down one size there. So I should have been 14, 16, 16, 18. But I did 12, 16, 16. And that fits perfectly. I don't think I'd want to mess with that any more than it already is. There's plenty of room in it, but it's not really big and baggy. And obviously, like I say, you can tie it with the ties at the back as well to cinch it in. So I was more than happy with that. Now, if we go then roughly, say with a size 16, because obviously my waist and hips are a size 16, it says for the extended version that I would need 4.3 meters. 4.3 meters. I was like, ooh, I had 4 meters. Move out of the way, Tig. I had 4 meters, so I was like, I think I can get this out. But I also wanted to extend it. Now, this pattern is drafted for 5 foot. I think I wrote it down. 5'5". Now I'm 5'9", so I was thinking I need to extend this by 4 inches really. But again, I'd looked at some reviews online and I saw that actually people were saying it was pretty long, so I only adjusted it by 2 inches. And now I managed to get that out just over 3 meters altogether, which I thought was pretty good considering it said 4.3 meters. My cat's so annoying sometimes. And I managed to get it out just over 3. Now the length of this dress is long, people, and I mean long. It's so maxi. I actually think I didn't need to add those 2 inches on, and if I didn't add the 2 inches on, I would probably be able to get this dress out at 3 meters, which is pretty good, because like I say, there's a lot of panels to this dress, so you know what I'm saying. So construction wise, didn't have any Tigger, would you mind just moving? Do you mind? You can't always be the star of the show. Let's move you down here. Look, come and snuggle down here. There we go. Yeah, construction wise, no issues whatsoever. This is a facing that goes all the way round and all the way down the front of the dress, which is quite good because it gives it a bit more weight, which means that this sits really nicely. Instructions were great. I didn't have any issues with them whatsoever. Oh, I did forget to mention though that the only thing I did different, I think, was it on here? Or am I completely making this up now? I think I'm making it up. I thought I'd added a bit onto the facing, but I hadn't. Just ignore. Yeah, so construction wise, perfect. Instructions really good. Didn't struggle with any part of this dress whatsoever. Now we like that, don't we? We love that. And like I say, the fabric behaved and did exactly what it should do. So these are the ties at the back, which are super cute. The only thing I would say about construction, the only thing that was hard about this is the fact that there's so much of it, the weight of it. Now I only have a very narrow desk, so it was constantly slipping off and the weight of it. So I had to kind of sit with it pulled in my lap to sew through because it was so long. But I'm just a little bit in love. I'm a little bit in love. There's no variations other than, I think it's the sleeves. You can have the full sleeves. When I say full sleeves, they're short sleeves, but full, or you can have the capped sleeves. And I went for the full sleeves. Did I? Did I go for the full sleeves or are they cap sleeves? I'm not even sure. I think they're the full ones. They're the full ones. So yeah, construction, no problem other than the weight of it. The only thing that bugs me a little bit is, this is all kept really neat and tidy, the facing, but when you get to the bottom of the dress, it can show, you know, it can kind of flip out a little bit. So I don't know whether next time I would maybe stitch all the facing down all the way up and round. Not sure. I mean, it's not enough to bug me, really. It's just one little thing that's there. And the other thing for me is when I've attached the facing at the bottom and then turned it, can you see here? It pulls a little bit here. So I need to unpick this bit here, pull it so that it lays flat, because that, you wouldn't see it when it's on, but I know it's there. It's the same on this one, can you see? You know, when you turn a hem out and it's just not laying quite straight. So I've got a bit of work to do on that. I used these gorgeous buttons. If anybody remembers rightly, see if you can see these, if it'll focus. Let me get my head out of the way. They've got like little swirls on them. Now, I used these are ones that I'd ordered from eBay ages ago and didn't realise they were coming from China, so they took forever, and then they turned up and I was like, oh, I forgot about those. Because you only need 7 buttons for this dress, but I'm kind of like, only 7 buttons on a dress of that length? And I also watched Tamlin from Sun on the Tyne's review of the Shelby that she'd done a couple of years ago, and she was also talking about the button placement here, and she said that she didn't think there was enough buttons down the front for her, and she stood up and showed her Shelby and it was kind of gaping at each button. So I kind of took her advice on board and I did my own button placement. So I didn't use the guide. I used the guide on the first one, but I also pulled it further across to make sure that this wasn't too low, and then I used my own. So I think I did 11 buttons all in all, and it only goes down to a certain point, and I went a little bit further than that as well. So I used 11 buttons and I'm very, very happy with that. Now, the only other, oh, and I also used this gorgeous label. Happy Dance, how cute is that? Now, these were a gift from the lovely Tamlin in Sun on the Tyne and from Rachel from Stitched Up for my birthday. They sent me these with some gorgeous fabric. I've actually stitched it through the back. Can you see here? Now, I know a lot of people don't like that, but it doesn't bother me at all. I actually quite like the look of it. The reason I did this though is because of the facing. I wanted to make sure that it was stuck down, because I'm not a massive fan of facings, I have to say, and I really don't like them when they flick out. Now all this part sits really nicely because it's obviously got the buttons to steady it, which is really nice. And the other good thing about this is obviously it's V-neck, which I don't wear very often, which is interesting. And it was really easy to construct because you don't have to make the V-neck, because it's made up of 2 pieces with just a curved edge. So it's really, really easy. So yes, the only other thing for me that I found weird were the bottom of the dress pieces. I probably should have got one of the pattern pieces out to show you, but they're all curved. So say you've got a piece of pattern piece coming like this, and then it dips like that, but then you've got your next piece which also dips. So your hem is kind of doing this. And when I came to hem it, I was like, is there a reason for that I don't know about? You clever people will probably be able to tell me. I hope you know what I'm even talking about. But I didn't like it, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to hem this properly. So I literally laid my dress flat on a cutting board, laid it all beautifully flat, and I got my rotary cutter and I just went phew, by sight as well. Bonkers, I know, but I'm just telling you the truth. That's what I did, because I fly by the seat of my pants, and I just literally lobbed it off so it was all straight so that I could hem it, and it was the longest hem of my life. But I did it. So yeah, it was really, really big hem, because obviously you've got all of these different pieces. You've got 4 at the front and 3 at the back that are tied in. Crazy, eh? But that was the only thing that I thought was a little bit weird, was the oh, it's not going to do it now, was the hem, the fact that it was a little bit curved. But would I recommend this pattern? Absolutely. Would I size down slightly in certain areas depending on how big your busters are? Obviously I ain't got a lot to show down there, so I didn't want it to be big and baggy. It's great in the fact that you can cinch it in with the ties. I actually really like the length. I've never had a dress as long as that, ever. But I actually quite like it. I felt really good swishing around in it. And then obviously, when I saw Alison change into her dress, I was like, look at us, don't we look great? And people at the venue where we were doing sew tune were like, you two have got the same dress on. We were like, we haven't actually. But only sewing people kind of recognise those sort of details, don't they? So that's a tiny hint as to what Alison might have done. I would definitely recommend it. I would make it again. I think next time I am definitely going to try the romper version and the short version, because I think it would be gorgeous for a holiday. I did say I'm going on holiday soon. Alison's actually already on holiday, which I think is very rude of her. So she has scheduled her video to come up and I'm racing in at the last moment just before the finish line to get mine done. So she's sipping cocktails at the moment while I'm filming this. How fair is that? But I think that's it. Let me just double check in case there's anything else. No. Simples. How good's that? Beautiful fabric, lovely pattern. Do you know what I like about it as well? It kind of skims all over them bits. I'll have been putting pictures in as well along the way, and I'll make sure that I put some pictures on Instagram as well. But that's it. But if you've got any questions about it, do let me know. And of course, please go and check out the lovely Alison over on her channel to see what she made with this gorgeous fabric. Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's had some time for sewing. And I'll see you again soon in my next video. Bye.